Okay, welcome now to, it's probably going to be our final video in this brief series. So, as promised, I went through and I've now added session raw token support to repeater SQL, and so now we get basically this right here, right? So it takes the session raw value and it queries it and it says, do we have any players? So, do we have any team players right now? No, we do not. So, let's create an interface to add some. So, we've already got the skeleton of that right here, so add player. And you got goofy value there, I want to take that out. So what do we got? Player name and phone. And I also had gender here, as that was one of the questions they asked before. I'm actually going to remove that because, of course, we don't have a field for that right now. So we'll just ask for player name and phone. And so we'll just add an SQL plus item for this. So we'll just do this one by hand. So we have add name and add phone. So insert into team player. And we have name, phone. And two values, and of course I can use my variable picker here, and name, add phone. All right, so these two values. And actually, we should probably do this too. So user, not probably, we have to do this, user ID. And so I believe we should have session raw on this. So hopefully, grab this value right here, and that should plug it in nicely. So then we're going to redirect back to teamroster.php. So remember, this is team roster. The idea is going to be that we're going to embed this form, this add player form, into this query module right here. Or excuse me, this repeater. First, let's test out this form. So I'm just going to do one more visual check. Insert in a team player, user ID, name, phone. That's why we do one more check. We got 3 fields that would have failed. Session raw, user ID, F, name, add phone. Okay, boom. So this should work. So Matt, phone, we direct right here, and then of course you can see here we've redirected to query all players, so then we actually show this record right here. You'll see where I've done that in just a second. First though, I'm going to turn off error info messages, then I'm going to grab the iframe code of this, and so this is a nifty little trick, because then what it's going to do is in my code right here, I can just add this iframe code into this block, right? So, matter of fact here, let me just to for sure know where that is, I'm going to add hard return, so we get this right here, and I'll just paste in the iframe code. And now that puts the add player form right underneath there, so that now we can just add a new player just like this. So we can say Steve, something like that, and then I'll hit submit. And now Steve's player information, because we just do this redirect, it's kind of seamless now. It just shows up right here. Of course, we could then actually change this into an update, excuse me, field, but we're actually going to leave that because we already have videos that show that in the builder documentation of how we use a update/delete form for this. But that's good enough for now. So yeah, so this should be good. So team roster. So now we should have it where we can go, team roster, and it shows this. Last thing maybe that we want to look at is building a real quick information bar. So one of the techniques that I use, or excuse me, navigation bar, one of the techniques I use for that then is I'll just create a kind of like a raw page towards the top of the job. And it can be sortable, freeform, whatever. Oops. I'm going to add that page. So I'll just scoot it up here. And then for page export mode, I'm just going to say no HTML and body tags. Right, so it's going to give just essentially the div that is located in here. And then we'll say navigation, and of course we can make this as fancy as we wanted, but for now I'll just say home, and we'll say, we'll say roster. How about home and roster? All right, so let's have 2 links. So the home, of course, is going to be this teammanage.php. Oops, excuse me. And I'm actually going to use WYSIWYG to put in this link, so I don't have to hand type it, save some time. And roster, I don't like how it added that twice. I believe again it should just be team-roster, but I always like to cut and paste. That's the other thing about me as a developer is I don't like to, even though it's easy enough to type that, I don't like to guess. I like to know for sure what's going on. So I don't like little typographical errors to bite me later on. So I don't like how that happened. So we'll add that space back in. We'll get something like that. So home and roster. And so then I should just be able to click this and it'll go home roster. But then we want to then include this page. So this, we call it anything we want. So we'll just say nav. So then nav.php can now just be implemented on any of these pages. And so I'll scoot these all down, and I'll add a field, for example, right here, and then I'll just say php include nav.php. Right? Now this makes it pretty simple now to just get this nav page on these pages right here. And then now, right, like this, we just cut and paste this wherever we want. The trick with this, though, is sometimes this becomes hidden. We can always do a lasso select, but that is why, like, what I could just say is navigation, and now this makes it really simple to see that there's a bit of text right there, and I just take out the word navigation from this, right? So it's navigation, and then our two links right there. And of course, we're not doing any styling here, but simple enough to do this. And so, yeah, then I can just go in here, and under query all players, right, we just pop another one of these guys in and paste that in, and now we have this navigation. And of course, the benefit here is no matter which one of these pages that we're on, we're always going to have a navigation that just needs to update in one place. So yeah, so that's essentially it. So now this status here, again, there could be some more interesting logic that happens with team roster, but the status is essentially done, and we can then essentially add players and go in and whenever we want start adding different templates for removing players as well. And so the thing about this was this application apparently costs a certain dollar amount per player, and even though it's nice and hey, you don't have to worry about anything and they handle the hosting and all that, if you have your own host, which costs about $4 a month through GoDaddy or equivalent, and you have a little bit of free time, you can create your own system where it costs you nothing, and just year after year after year now you have your own team management system that you no longer have to worry about. And so so RackForms, just in terms of this, as a $110 investment, hopefully makes this stuff pretty simple. But even if you just hand-coded all this, you're saving a ton of money in the long run. So yeah, so that is our look at this application, and try to cover lots of ground just in terms of describing it, but also implementation. And so if you have any questions about this job, please feel to email me at info@rackforms.com. Just put something like team management app in the subject line, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have, or just leave a YouTube comment, and be happy to comment. So thanks for taking the time, and happy coding.